You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Thursday, March 20th. Like always, I know I'm just going so fast into the season,
wow.
Grace.
Luis
Like
Hill's
always,
back.
I'm your guy
Clark
Hector.
Schmidt.
Hanging out with my compadre this morning. I got the lovely Grace Monroe. Grace, how are you doing on this beautiful March 20th?
We just skipped right over April. That was hilarious. I love March 20th. So glad to be here with y'all. We missed you. I know we had to cancel the last couple episodes, but we missed you. We're back. Let's talk some Yankees baseball. So excited.
Yes. We are back. Yankees baseball. We are 8 days away from opening day. Like Grace said, I was traveling back from Vegas for my girlfriend's birthday, so I appreciate everybody who sent all the love and positive energy this past week. My girlfriend had an amazing time in Vegas. Shout out to Theo Nosebleed section, shouting it out in the chat. Happy belated birthday, Alex. And shout out to the lovely girlfriend who says Uptown Sports TV chat guidelines, no hate speech or bullying will be tolerated. If you violate the YouTube terms of services or our guidelines, you will be removed from the chat without any warning. This is intended to be a safe space. We're just trying to talk some good Yankees baseball.
You're out of there.
You're out. Tina is in the building. Shout out to Tina. Good morning, Tina. I hope all is well. Nathaniel Cranshaw is in the building. Nathaniel, how you doing? Salute. 3 capital S's. Our good friend Stephen B is in the building. Stephen B, how you doing? Dev Finch is in the building. My guy, Dev Finch. I hope all is well, Dev. I hope the family's doing good, and I hope you is doing good as well. Grace, I'm going to toss it over to you. How have you been this last week? The dress is beautiful. You look amazing. The makeup is giving. You're giving right now, Grace.
Thank you, Hector. Hector's like, why are you wearing a dress? What's the occasion? I'm like, I'm a Southern belle and it's springtime. That's the occasion. But thank you very much. You look amazing too, Hector, as always. But I had a great St. Patrick's Day. You know, I'm an Irish girl, so had to hold it down on St. Patty's Day, you know, wear my green, although my eyes are green. So I always have, you know, are you wearing green? I'm like, my eyes are green. But yeah, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Got to watch a lot of Yankees baseball over the last few days, which has been amazing. We had the split squad games, 2 games in one day, which was awesome. A lot of great interviews the Yes Network did with their celebration of the, 23 years of Yes Network or something. So I really enjoyed all that. Can't wait for the season to start. Really getting barn sour. Do you know that saying? Okay.
I was just about to say, I have no idea what that is. What is that?
Okay. I'm just going to tell you real fast. Like when you're riding a horse and you're riding a horse like all day or whatever, but then all of a sudden you turn back to the barn. Horses are smart. And so the horse knows, okay, we're going home now. And the horse just takes out for the barn. And that's called being barn sour. You have to break that out of a horse because it's dangerous. But anyway, that's called being barn sour. So basically it's like you see the finish line or you know where you're going and you're like, oh, you can't wait to get there. You just take off. That's called being barn sour. Okay, you're welcome, everybody.
I just have to say, with all the horses that I ride in New York City, Grace, I can't believe that I have no idea what that phrase was. You know, let me go.
My God,
I gotta go jump on my I gotta jump on my horse after the show and get me a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Okay,
you know?
whatever. I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, well, you talk, Hector. Then you talk.
No. Listen, Grace. You know I love the shit out of you. I love us being able to joke
Love
like
you.
that. But no, like you said, a lot of Yankees baseball this weekend. It was weird watching the Yankee game. Being in Vegas is a time difference. So the games were like at 11 o'clock in the morning over there. So that was pretty cool. As well, Major League Baseball did start. We had the LA Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs playing over here in Japan for the Tokyo series. That was actually cool, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch the games that are going on over there. The Expedition games as well. The Japanese team beat both the Cubs and the Dodgers, beat the American squad, and Shohei Ohtani, I know he had a home run, but shout out to that Japanese team. A lot of people, they talk about Japanese baseball as Is it real? Is it not? It looks like they have a lot of talent coming out of Japan, coming out of the Asian market. So I just want to shout out that real quick before we continue. Eddie Snaps is in the building. Eddie, how you doing? TC Stills is in the building. He says, time for Hector to borrow the horses from Central Park. Absolutely, Eddie. My brother TC Stills is in the building. TC, how you doing? Stephen C is in the building. Steph says, Grace and Hector, hope you're both doing good. Steph, I hope you're doing good. Crackle Nuts is in the building. My good friend Crackle Nuts, how are you doing? Dev Finch, happy birthday to your sister, Dev. Dev said it's his sister's birthday today. Dev, happy birthday to your sister. If you guys can, drop the birthday emojis for Dev Finch's sister in the chat. But Grace, now that we got all the subtlety out the way, I missed you. We missed these conversations. We got to talk about the New York Yankees. And like you said, there was a split squad game yesterday. And before we talk about anyone else from yesterday's game, from both of the split squad games, we have to talk about Marcus Stroman. Fireside Yankees, they put it out there. Marcus Stroman had another great start against the Phillies in Clearwater. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 3 strikeouts. He did walk a couple of batters in 3 innings, something he has to work on. But the Stro show looks like he's in full effect with the absence of Gerrit Cole, with the absence of Luis Hill. This is a great sighting from Marcus Stroman. What's your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. You know, I like Marcus Stroman. He did have a really nice showing. I know it was only 3 innings. People were slamming him on social media for bragging about 3 innings. But that being said, look, we know who Marcus Stroman is. At this point, we should, if you don't know, that's on you. But Marcus Stroman is an innings eater pitcher. He will, he'll get his pitch count up, and he doesn't pitch deep into games, okay? But he is who he is. He is valuable. He's on our squad, and we're riding with him. Okay, we're riding all the way back to the World Series this year. So I'm happy that he had a great outing. He put on his Instagram story after his outing the emoji of this, told y'all, and people were slamming him for that. And I'm like, do you want him to do well, or do you want him, he's on the Yankees. Don't you want him to do well? No, it's I don't get it. People are rooting for him to fail even though he's on their team. I don't get that, okay? That's a personal problem. I want him, as long as he's in pinstripes, I want him to pitch nails, So I was really, really happy to see that from him. And listen, guys, any single one of us, now we're not professional athletes, clearly, but any one of us who has been through what Marcus Stroman has been through emotionally over the last couple months, with losing his home, with moving his family, with all the trade rumors, everyone talking to him about it, the media up in his face constantly, losing the World Series was hard on him, just like everybody on the team. I mean, this man has been through some stuff in the last couple months. It's not easy to get out there on the mound and pitch when the rumors are swirling around you, all the noise, and you're the father of your family, you're trying to provide. I mean, you've got so much on your mind and so much pressure on you. And he still has been calm, cool, collected. He has never badmouthed the Yankees throughout this entire process. He has never said, yeah, go ahead and trade me, I don't care. No, he's been about his business, and he had a good start. So what's the problem?
Yeah, I think if Marcus Stroman's name was Fulano, right? It's because his name is Marcus Stroman. That's why Yankee fans feel some type of way about Marcus Stroman. They don't let the past go, right? It's date back to last year when the Yankees were negotiating a contract with Marcus Stroman. You had some Yankee fans coming up even on our open panel saying that they would have rather give Trevor Bauer a chance than sign Marcus Stroman, which I think is asinine, especially nowadays when you look at the reality. When it comes to Marcus Stroman, we know what Stroman is. He's a first half pitcher. Right. He's going to be there in the second half if he can. If he doesn't, if his health could, or if his stamina allows him to be, He's going to be a dog. He's going to go out there. He's going to pitch you as much as he can when it comes to the effort. He's always going to give you max effort. That's one thing Marcus Stroman always has, his maximum effort. Whether you like him, whether you don't, Marcus Stroman is saying everything right that a professional athlete can say right now. Coming into spring training with all the rumors that were going around, with the trade scenarios, with this, that, and the third, with him losing his house because of the LA fires, he had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And I think Marcus Stroman has handled it well, especially in the past. If this was maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe Marcus Stroman will be handling a lot different. We have a veteran Marcus Stroman, a more mature version of Marcus Stroman, and I have no issue with how he's carrying himself and everything that he has said this spring training. Like you said, Grace, he's not out there sandbagging his teammates. He's not out there complaining about the front office. He's not out there saying you need to trade me tomorrow and I want to be traded. He's not out there doing that. So all these Yankee fans that are making up these random scenarios or these random talking points in their head just so they could get frustrated and mad at Marcus Stroman, I don't understand it. I don't get it. He's a part of this squad. Whether you have doesn't matter what it is. You have the Yankees uniform on. I'm going to root for you. I root for the patch that's in front of the jersey, not the name that's on the back of the jersey. Marcus Stroman is on my squad. I'm going to root for Marcus Stroman on my squad. Hell, Joey Gallo is trying to become a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, right? So if Joey Gallo can get some, could find his way in Major League Baseball, I think Marcus Stroman can as well. Sorry for the random Joey Gallo slander right there.
No. I have Joey. I dropped my pen. Everything's fine. I have a Joey Gallo slander in a second. But yeah, what I wanted to say about Marcus Stroman, last thing, just to wrap up, is he's consistent and he gives his team the chance to win the game. You know, I would venture to dare to say, and I'm not slandering Carlos Rodon. I'm not, okay? But what I'm going to say is, I feel like Marcus Stroman is more consistent to himself than perhaps a guy like Carlos Rodon. Rodon is like either on absolutely like shutout baseball, or he's like, you know, flailing around trying to find his strike zone, right? Marcus Stroman is consistently, I want to say like a B- pitcher, but he's consistently that, okay? You're never going to get, I shouldn't say never, but you're not probably going to get A+ strikeout stuff from Marcus Stroman like you can from Carlos Rodon. So like Rodon has like more of an upside, right? But Marcus Stroman is more consistent. And so there's something to be said for that. The team always, most of the time has a chance to win the game. And that's all you can ask from a starting pitcher. We're lucky to have Marcus Stroman on our squad, especially after the injuries that we've incurred this spring. We still have him available. Thank God they didn't trade him yet, because now we really, really need him. But anyway, about Joey Gallo, what I wanted to say was I was watching Pinstripe Territory. Shout out to Derek over there.
Shout out to Derek. Yeah. Shout out to the folks at Foul Territory. Yeah. Those are the peoples.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I was shopping. I had my headphones on, and I'm listening to this, and I laughed out loud in the middle of this store because Derek was like, so Joey Gallo is going to try his hand at pitching, apparently, and you know, I could see him doing okay. You know, he's got a great arm, outfielder, you know, lots of experience. And I think there's at least one person in MLB that Joey Gallo could strike out. Unfortunately, that batter is Joey Gallo. When I tell you, I burst out laughing in the middle of this store, and people like looked at me. I'm like, oh, sorry. It was hilarious. So anyway, shout out to Pinstripe Territory.
No, and I hate to be that person to piggyback off of what Derek said, but not only he probably strike out Joey Gallo, but he could probably strike out Alex Verdugo, a little lefty on lefty action. March 20th, Alex Verdugo has still yet to sign with a major league team. Grace, what's going on with the Dugmeister and the Dogs? Alex Verdugo, no team has signed him. What's your thoughts on Verdugo? Folks in the chat, let us know what's your thoughts on Verdugo, on the Doogie.
I don't know. I feel really bad for him because he's a nice guy, and we all wanted it to work out. We were all rooting for you.
Facts.
But the offense just wasn't there. And for a lefty with half your games at Yankee Stadium to not have the offense be there, it's pretty damning. I
Yeah.
feel like people watched him last season because everyone was watching the Soto Judge show and everyone was watching the World Series. And unfortunately for him, having that poor offensive season as a lefty in a lefty showcase ballpark was really, really hurtful for him. His defense is still great. His defense is there. But teams just don't seem to be valuing that over the bat, I guess, in left field. I don't know. I'm surprised that he hasn't had anything. Like anything. But man, it sucks.
Yeah, it definitely does. I want to shout out my guy, Anthony Medina, mi hermano de la Islas in the building. Anthony, how you doing? I hope all is well with you, my guy. Yankees opening day is around the corner. Shout out to Anthony Medina. Anna Marie is in the building. My good friend, Anna. Anna, I hope all is well. Cracklenut said, I got into a fist fight with Joey Gallo. I was just shocked he didn't land not one hit. Cracklenut's my guy. I appreciate you. Lou said, didn't he turn down an offer? According to the Boston Globe, Alex Verdugo hasn't received not one offer this entire offseason. So I'm not sure if he did turn down a deal. Anna Marie said Verdugo might go to the Mexican League. I'm not sure about that. He may play with Trevor Bauer on his team. But no, I don't. Listen, when it comes to Verdugo, it didn't work out. I wish him all the best in his future. Maybe he attaches on to a team during the season, but as of right now, he's still a free agent. Shout out to Future, who's in the building. My guy, Future, how you doing? FL Divers in the building as well. Another Yankee starting pitcher who pitched in the split squad game, who has been phenomenal in spring training, has been Carlos Carrasco. Cookie Carrasco, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. 54 pitches thrown, 33 of those was strikes, and his spring training ERA is down to 1.69. I get it. It's spring training. Carlos Carrasco, he has a history of looking amazing in spring training and then fading out during the regular season. But Grace, I want to ask you, what's your thoughts on the Cookie Meister? And folks in the chat, let us know as well. Alex Amante, how you doing?
I was very interested to watch his start yesterday because obviously the rumors are swirling that the Yankees are going to add him to the roster, that he's going to make the team. And what I saw yesterday was a veteran presence on the mound, a lot of ground balls, a lot of weak contact, and a calmness about his demeanor. I didn't really know much about him as a person, like his personality before this. His interviews after his starts have been so endearing. He seems like such a sweet, nice guy who is a calm, collected presence. So I really like him. I know about Spring Mirage, but I also don't care because that's all I have to go off of right now. And we don't need him necessarily for the entire season. We just need him to be kind of like, what's it called? Like a bridge starter or something. You're muted, Heck. Yeah, we just need him to like get us over until Clark Schmidt comes back, until Luis Gil comes back, right? But honestly, I'm feeling at this point that we're lucky that Brian Cashman gave him a spring training invite and that we even have this option available right now. Because I remember when Cashman gave him that spring training invite, everybody was laughing. Everybody was saying, oh, Cashman's going dumpster diving again, this old guy, and they're inviting him. What are they doing? This is a waste of time. And now look where we are. And now, because without Carlos Carrasco, we'd be up a creek without a paddle right now. Because we'd have to bring Will Warren up, and then what? And then who do we have left? So I'm feeling lucky that we have him available. And is it like a long-term solution? Probably not. Is he an ace? No. Okay, no. I know who he is and what he is. But we need him right now, and he has value.
Yeah. No, he definitely does. And he reminds me when the Yankees, I think in 2011 and 2012, when the Yankees brought in Freddie Garcia, who was a veteran pitcher who was 34, 35 years old, basically around the same age as Carlos Carrasco. And in 2011, Freddie Garcia pitched 146 innings with the Yankees to an ERA of 4.12. In 2012, he pitched 107 innings with an ERA around 4.68. And if we could get that out of Carlos Carrasco as a fifth starter, I'll take that every time, every chance I get. You can give me Carlos Carrasco, 100 innings, pitching to an ERA 4.50, 4.75. I'll take that, especially when you look at how injured our starting rotation is. Now, a lot of Yankee fans may be a little bit upset when it comes to Carlos Carrasco getting the shot over Will Warren, but you just have to understand when it comes to Will Warren's going to get his chance at the big league level this season. It's just with Carlos Carrasco looking as good as he is, they want to send Will Warren down to start the season in the minors just so they can control his service time and manipulate the service time. It's a part of baseball. It's a part of the CBA. Fans may not like it, but it's there, and teams are going to take advantage of it. And that's the situation that we have with Carlos Carrasco and Will Warren. Carlos Carrasco will start the season with the team. Will Warren will start the season in the minor leagues, and then after a month, you'll see Will Warren in the big leagues roster, depending on how good or how bad Carlos Carrasco is performing. It's kind of like the situation with Dom Smith and Ben Rice. Dom Smith has been amazing in spring training. He's done everything possible that any big leaguer could do to win a spot on the big league roster. But I think the Yankees will ultimately cut Dom Smith, and Ben Rice will be the starting DH. I'm calling it right now. I'm saying it right now. Ben Rice will crack the team opening day, and Dom Smith will be let go, and he will be picked up by another team. That's just my prediction when it comes to that situation.
Yeah, could be. They have some tough decisions to make, and that's definitely one of them. That's why I texted you the other day, and I just have this feeling I don't want it to be true that they're going to trade Ben Rice. I can't shake this feeling.
No, From the people that I've spoken with, my guy Julian is down there at Yankee Spring Training. Shout out to Julian Galarte with Latino Sports. If you guys haven't checked out Latino Sports on the website, go ahead and check it out. But according to the people I've spoken with, the Yankees are in love with Ben Rice. They feel that Ben Rice can hit in the middle of the lineup. They love his approach at the plate. When you look at Ben Rice coming into spring training, he put about 10 to 15 pounds on of muscle. You see the power there. I think if Ben Rice was a first-round pick out of the draft with the numbers that he put up in AAA, we'll be having a different conversation about Ben Rice. It's because of how he got to the big leagues, how he was signed untraditionally. That's why a lot of people are that's why he's floating under the radar, if I may say that. But Ben Rice, he will break the camp with the big league roster this season.
My concern about Ben Rice it's not a concern with him. It's my view of what the Yankees think about Ben Rice. Let me explain. I don't think that the Yankees are over the moon about his defense. I think they put him at first sometimes, he catches sometimes. I don't think that they believe that he's an everyday defender. I do think they believe he's an everyday bat, okay? But I don't think they believe in his defense as much. And because of that, and because of the fact that Giancarlo is injured, there's a DH spot is open right now, right? So we're like, yeah, just slot Ben Rice in. But what happens when Giancarlo comes back? And then you've got a DH guy sort of sitting on the bench. Listen, I love Ben Rice. I don't want to trade him. I think it's crazy. I don't want to trade him. But I just smell blood in the water here because there are moves that Cashman wants to make. And you have to give up a player with value to get a player with value. And Ben Rice has value to a lot of other teams. He has value to us too. He's great. But I think that because they don't value this is just my hunch. They don't value his defense as much, so they find his bat redundant. Even though it's a great bat. But that's what I'm afraid of. That's my fear.
No, I get that, and it's fair criticism. I mean, I wouldn't even say criticism. But fair things to point out when it comes to Ben Rice. if the Yankees didn't have Ben Rice catching in spring training, I would 100% go with what you just said. The fact that the Yankees are still allowing Ben Rice to catch gives me hope that the Yankees still think that he could be a regular position player. He may not win you. But that's the thing with JC Escara. JC Escara is turned some heads. Defensively, he has always been a solid defender from behind the plate. He is turning some heads with his bat right now. And I think to start the season with you never want to root for injuries, but Giancarlo Stanton's injury is the perfect lane and avenue for the Yankees to start the season with 3 catchers, to start with Austin Wells, JC Escara, and with Ben Rice. I think if you were to ask the Yankees, or if I was in the brain trust with the Yankees, if you look at those 3 catchers, the Yankees are in love with Austin Wells. The Yankees love Ben Rice. And I think JC Escara is the odd man out of those 3 catchers. I think they may, if you were to ask opposing GMs, who would you rather, Ben Rice or JC Escara? And if I'm an opposing GM, I'd rather take the chance on JC Escara than Ben Rice, because I know defensively JC Escara could defend at the big league level. I'm in love with Ben Rice's bat, but I'm not sure if consistently he can hit in the middle of the lineup, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I totally agree. I think that's exactly how they feel about Ben Rice. They love his bat. They're okay with his excuse me. Okay with his defense. JC Escara is balanced, right? His defense and his bat. His bat doesn't have the upside maybe that Ben Rice does, but he's got a balance there. He's an all-rounded player, well-rounded player. So I believe they like JC's defense a lot more than Ben Rice. That's why I think that they will view him as redundant and try to move him possibly. You're saying they might try to move JC, but I don't know.
Just because JC has more of an upside. If you're a team that wants a catcher for the future, JC Escara, he's younger than Ben Rice, right? He's better defensively than Ben Rice. JC Escara, a lot of people are wondering if this version of him in spring training, if this is the real him or if this is just a bleep on the radar because of how good he has been hitting, right? I brought it up in the Limdome series, the Dominican series. He won a batting title, and he won the batting title in that series. So in that league, I should say. So let's just wait and see. I think it's a good problem for the Yankees to have. Wait, JC Escara. I thought JC Escara is older. I'm blanking out real quick. I got him confused. 29. Yeah, no, he's older than Ben Rice. Yeah, sorry about that, Medina.
Yeah, I think he's 29. I only know that, like, I'm not a creeper, but this morning, excuse me, y'all, I'm so sorry. This morning I was looking up ages of players right before the show because I wanted to talk about Cody Bellinger.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all. And I'm like, how old is Cody Bellinger? So I'll look it up. 29, right? 29 years old. And because people talk about, oh, his MVP year was way a long time ago. He's this old. I'm like, he's 29. He's 29. And I'm looking up who else is 29 on the team. JC Escara is 29. And Ben Rice is up there too. Ben Rice, I think, is older than Austin Wells. But anyway.
No, Ben Rice is 26. His birthday is February 22nd. He just turned 26.
I think Austin Wells is 25. You guys, I'm so sorry. I really apologize. Please love me.
No, you're good.
So what I want to talk about with Cody Bellinger was yesterday, if y'all caught the spring training game, the first game of the day, Cody Bellinger hit a home run. He's been absolutely on fire this spring. I mean, I think he was batting over 500 at one point. And oh yeah, here it is. Yes. Okay, this is what I want to talk about because I was watching the game and I'm watching this guy and look at his batting stance. This guy, his stance is so like different. I don't know. It just struck me yesterday. He's standing straight up and down in the box, like straight up and down. And I've noticed that sometimes right after the pitch is released from the pitcher's hand, he will step out of the box before the pitch even reaches the plate. Mm-hmm. He'll be like, nope, he'll step out of the box. And I'm like, what is this guy seeing? He is seeing the ball. He is locked in. So yesterday when he hit this home run, I really noticed, again, straight up and down in his stance. And then he saw the pitch coming. He readied and loaded and turned on it so fast that he just whips it and lifted it out. And I'm like, this swing is going to feed families at Yankee Stadium. And so I'm looking at this and I'm just marveling over this and how different it is, right? Well, later I was watching a podcast and Eric Kratz mentioned,
shout out to Kratzy,
that he has seen this stance in Cody Bellinger before. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I noticed this on my own and I'm like, oh my God, like a professional baseball player is talking about what I was thinking about. And he was saying that he's seen this stance in Cody before, and it wasn't last year. It wasn't the year before that. It was 2019 when he stands straight up in the box. He's totally locked into the pitch and decides if he's going to hit it or not, if he's going to lift it or not, if he's going to drive it the other way or not, whatever, so fast. And then he whips on it. It was 2019 when he looked like that. And that was the year he won MVP. Am I saying he's going to win MVP this year? No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that Cody Bellinger looks absolutely locked in. And it is an amazing thing because he's probably going to bat behind Judge. Is he going to give protection to Aaron Judge? Like, sure, in his way, absolutely. But he is going to be an absolute threat in the Yankees lineup. He has been hitting singles, doubles, homer, single, double. I mean, he has been awesome.
If there's anyone who looked like they were born to wear pinstripes, it's Cody Bellinger. His swing is tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. And like you said, Grace, I look forward to seeing what Cody Bellinger can do in 81 games at Yankee Stadium in the regular season. I know the season is 162 games. 81 of those games will be played in Yankee Stadium. Knock on wood, Cody Bellinger has dealt with injuries in the past. Hopefully he has a healthy 2025 season. And if he has a good season, that means he can opt out, renegotiate with the Yankees, or get his bag and go somewhere else, right? So everything works out in the Yankees' favor. Now, when it comes to this Yankee team, I know a lot of people have been down on the New York Yankees. And when you look at it, I think the Yankees are still the top team in the American League. The Yankees were one of the weakest base running teams in Major League Baseball last season. Following a busy offseason, they weren't able to re-sign Juan Soto, where they find themselves back in the top of the AL East. Me personally, I think the Yankees are still the top team to beat in the American League until they're knocked off their throne. Yes, the Yankees have some concerns with their starting rotation. Is it a big deal that we lost Gerrit Cole for this season? Absolutely. Is it a big deal that Luis Hill won't be back till after the All-Star break, hypothetically? Absolutely. But the same way how the Yankees starting rotation has question marks, the Red Sox starting rotation will has the same amount of question marks. The Red Sox are a lot better than what they were last year. But when you look at both teams, I still think that the Yankees bullpen is way better than the Boston Red Sox bullpen. I still think with Aaron Judge in the middle of your lineup is better than any lineup that's in the American League. 1 through 9, the Red Sox may have a better 1 through 9. But when you look at the top of our lineup, when you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, I think the Yankees number 4, 1 through 4 is better than the Red Sox, is better than the Baltimore Orioles. When you look at the Orioles, they lost Corbin Burns. Their bullpen was horrible last year. They made little improvements to their team. Yes, the Boston Red Sox got Gerrit Cole. Yes, Gerrit Cole looks amazing in spring training, but Gerrit Cole is the same starting pitcher that only pitched over 100 innings once in his career, and that was last year. So people expectations about Gerrit Cole winning the Cy Young when he never pitched more than 150 innings in a regular season, to me, is asinine, right? And yes, everybody wants to fall in love with the Boston Red Sox because they have the best prospect pool in baseball. They have Roman Anthony. They have Marcel Mayer. I get it. They have a solid farm system, but they have question marks in their starting rotation the same way the Yankees have question marks in their starting rotation. Am I supposed to believe that Aroldis Chapman is going to be a better closer than Devin Williams? Are you kidding me? Am I supposed to believe that that Gerrit Crochet is supposed to be better than a healthy Max Fried? Are we really having this conversation right now? I'm sorry, Grace. I just had to get that off of my chest.
No, Cook. Yeah, I mean, the AL East is the AL East. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, your pitching is great, cute. Now come do it in the AL East, because this is the big boy. You're running with the big boys now, okay? So, Max Fried is going to go through the same adjustment pitching in the AL East, but Max Fried is a World Series champion. So yeah, I mean, look, Gerrit Crochet is a great pitcher. Let's see him do it in the AL East. You know, that's all I got to say about that. And then I did want to say that according to Zip projections, the Yankees are projected this season, 2025, to be the second best in all base running value in all of Major League Baseball, not just the American League. So we have drastically improved our, offense as far as base running value goes. A lot, so hey, we have a lot of things to look forward to. We lost Gerrit Cole. I almost said Gerrit Crochet. We lost Gerrit Cole, Daddy Cole, and we're still projected to win the American League. Vegas still gives us the best odds. So, it is what it is. Games have to be played. But I love our team. I think it's just like what I was saying earlier in the year. It's like you trade two, like you had $2 bill players in Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, and now you've got 6 quarter players, right? So like instead of having a $1 bill, you have 4 quarters and you spread it around the team. So like you still have value on your squad. It's just a longer lineup. It's maybe less upside, but more across the board. And it's just a different style. I've really enjoyed watching it in spring. I've really, really enjoyed the situational hitting, the playing for the guy behind you, the taking the sack fly or walking. Like, I've really enjoyed watching that. So yeah. I'm looking forward to a different style of baseball this year, a measured, selfless, Gold Glove MVP style of baseball. That's what I'm looking for. We have so many Gold Gloves on this team, Heck.
I'm right there with you. When you look at this team right now, 2025, infield, it's a better defensive infield than what we had last year. When you look at our outfield rotation, I know Jasson Dominguez is having his struggles in left field, but having Cody Bellinger in center field, moving Aaron Judge to right field, it makes the outfield defense way better than what it was last year. Again, I know Jasson Dominguez is having his struggles. I'm pretty sure he'll figure it out during the season. But with talking about Jasson Dominguez, shout out to Paranormal in the Funhouse who says, I miss you guys. What's up? Any news? Yankees coming to make any moves, trades? And who makes the roster? I love Dom, but the Don Smith, let's go. Paranormal in the Funhouse, how you doing? Talking about Jasson Dominguez, he was a punching bag to start spring training. A lot of Yankee fans were using this kid as a punching bag. They were beating up on Jasson Dominguez, but in his last five games, Jasson Dominguez is 7 for 18. He has an 889 slugging percentage. You sent me the text message. Hold on, I'm bringing it up right now. Shout out to our good friend Los at Yankees Farm. And his last 10 spring training games, Jasson Dominguez, he has a 353 batting average, a 371 on base percentage, 647 slugging, which gives him a 1.018 OPS, 3 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Grace, has the Martian landed?
Yes. And Los says this, incessantly, and I agree. At every level, Jasson takes time to adjust. It's been his entire life. It's been his career. It's the way he works. And he works, y'all. He is a professional. And he adjusts. And once he adjusts, goodbye. Like he goes out of the stratosphere, right? So that's what we're seeing, right? He's making an adjustment, right, to the spring training, to playing left field. He's working so hard to try to play his game. We're going to witness another adjustment when he comes up to the regular season. We need to be patient with him because it's going to pay off. This guy, once he locks in, he goes on a streak like nobody's business, okay? And it's going to be an amazing thing to watch. It's going to be so delicious to just rub it in the face of all the doubters. And I'm looking at not even the Yankees doubters, but the other teams who are looking over their neighbor's fence at our business and our spring training and what we're doing over here. Worry about yourselves. But anyway, the Red Sox fans, the Dodgers fans, the Orioles fans, all these people who have been ragging on Jasson Dominguez this whole spring training and saying, oh, hasn't he been a prospect for 20 years? Whatever they're saying, idiots. I can't wait. It's going to be so delicious.
I know, but there's some Yankee fans that they should be eating crow also, because you had some Yankee fans to start spring training who were dogging Jasson Dominguez, who said, oh, he's a bust. He's never going to live up to the hype. He's never going to be this, that, and the third. And like you said, shout out to Los, shout out to King Los, as I like to call him on Yankees Twitter. When it comes to what he said about Jasson Dominguez, at every level, Jasson Dominguez takes time before he performs, and I think that's what he needed. He just needed to feel a little bit of comfort. I know a lot of people say, put him in center field. Left field is messing with his confidence. His confidence over the last 10 games has looked pretty good. When was the last time that we've seen a Jasson Dominguez blunder and left field go viral like we were the first 2 weeks of spring training? It felt like the first 2 weeks of spring training, Grace. Every day there was a video of him going viral from not being able to play the defense out there in left field. And ever since that last game that you talked about when he was running towards the wall and then he's pulled up right before he got to the wall. After that game, he has played a solid left field. Yeah. After that game is when he had that conversation with Bernie Williams, the great center fielder for the New York Yankees, switch hitter Bernie Williams, who I will be at his event in Asbury Park next week, Thursday, with my guy Frank Luna. Shout out to Frankie Luna. But after that conversation Bernie Williams had with Jasson Dominguez, we have not seen a clip of Jasson Dominguez go viral from not playing left field. And all you Yankee fans who were shitting on the Martian, who were saying that this kid's a bust, who were saying that Brian Cashman don't know what he's doing, I hope all of you guys está comiendo caca ahora.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I mean, have you seen the videos of Altuve in left?
Oh yeah. That's a funny thing that you bring that up. I was having a conversation with an Astro fan right before spring training, and I was like, the Astros are gonna put Jose Altuve in left field, bro. You have to figure out your own team. Oh, they're never putting him in left field. What are you talking about? And look, now he's making the Craig Biggio move and gonna be in left field.
I actually feel sorry for him, and
mierda. There you go, Medina.
And I can't stand him, and I'm one of the I wish. I'm so mad at him. I'll forever be mad at him. You know, when everybody yells the you know what at the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, y'all. I'm a Southern Belle in a dress, but when it comes to my Yankees, I don't play, and I will never forgive Jose Altuve, and I'll never forget. Anyway, so I don't want to feel sorry for him, and yet I'm only human, and when I see the little guy out there left field running around like a chicken with his head cut off and, looking for this ball. And I'm like, I actually feel sorry for him.
I have no pity on a big leaguer who's making over $20 million a season. I'm good. Jose Altuve, he's fine. He's making over $20 million a season. He's good, baby.
Anyway. Yeah. But the reason I bring this up is, do you hear the Astros yelling about, oh, Altuve sucks, he's washed, la la la. I don't hear that. I don't follow any Astros, but I'm just saying, adjusting to a new position is adjusting to a new position. I know Dominguez was already an outfielder. We're just asking him to move a few feet to his left. But when you got a lot of things on your mind. You got a lot of pressure on you. That's why I think it's great they're having Wells or whoever lead off and not throwing Dominguez in lead off, starting out. Maybe after he gets his feet wet, gets into a groove. Maybe they move him up to the lead off in the middle of the season or toward the trade deadline. But maybe they don't. Maybe they don't fix it if it ain't broke. You know, if Wells is crushing it at the leadoff spot, you know, maybe don't move him out. You know, but who knows? I think it's good though that they'll probably start him in the bottom part of the order. Just let the kid have some confidence building up, and because his upside is like something we haven't seen in years coming up from a prospect. So
I hate to bring this up, but I only bring it up because we talked about Altuve, right? So Aroldis Chapman, the closer for the Boston Red Sox, who was the closer for the New York Yankees, who gave up that home run to Altuve, and everybody was talking about the buzzer on his chest. Did he have anything like that? So there was an interview that happened this offseason. It's why I always tell people, if you guys can, make sure you guys are following the Latino podcasts that are out there that interview a lot of these players in the offseason. There was one this offseason with Aroldis Chapman, and they were having a conversation about Jose Altuve and his home run he hit against the New York Yankees. I have the captions on the bottom. I translated it afterwards. If there's any lost translation, I'll fill in any of the words.
El palo de Altuve. ¿Tú nunca pensaste nada, que él tenía un algo, no nada de eso? ¿Nunca te pasó por la cabeza? No, que por ahí viene la risa mía. La gente siempre me dice como, oye, vos el palo y te estás riendo, ¿cómo te vas a reír? Porque es como, coño, como que me imaginé, ¿sabes? ¿Tú lo estabas sospechando? Yo tiré como 2 retas altas y él estaba como que no iba a hacer swing. Después le tiro un slider y él lo coge, como tú cuidas ese picheo así. Le tiro un slider en el strike y él como que lo cogió, como que lo timeó. Yo me quedé como hecho para atrás y yo como que, coño, ese picheo, digo yo, va a tirar otro para allá. Otro por fuera, tirar otro slider para allá, si no lo pela. Y cuando le dio, yo dije, mierda, yo sabía, ¿no? ¿Sabes? Por eso sale la sonrisa mía así, como que, yo dije, mierda, yo honestamente.
And I get what he's saying, because what he's saying basically was there was a lot of fans or a lot of people that said, why are you smiling when Altuve hit the home run off of you? Like, why are you smiling? And he said that, like, while trying to pitch to Altuve, he was pitching backwards to Altuve. He threw him the fastballs, and he just laid off of the fastball, didn't even try to attack the fastball. Mm-hmm. And when he threw the slider, the first one, and he took it, he thought that Altuve was off, but afterwards he realized Altuve was timing his slider, specifically his slider. And he said he went to throw the slider again, but he threw it on the outside, and that's when Altuve hit it for the home run. And he knew at that moment Altuve set him up for him to throw the slider, if you get what I'm saying. Again, I really don't care, right? Chapman's not on my team. I just thought it was interesting to see his response to a lot of people saying, why were you smiling? Why were you smiling? He was smiling because he had to tip his hat to Altuve, who got the best of him in that spot. I don't think Altuve had a buzzer on or anything like that. I know there's a lot of controversy from Yankee fans. I don't like to live in the past, but it was just good hearing Chapman give his breakdown of that at-bat.
Now, since you brought it up, Hector, and I didn't bring it up, and you got me all riled up, now bring up what Cody Bellinger said about Altuve wearing a buzzer, and why don't you play that little beautiful
I'll find it.
Because let me tell you, Belly was not trying to have it, and he wasn't even playing for the Yankees at the time, okay? So he straight up called out Altuve and said, what the heck? That is, just find the clip.
I'll go find it. I want to shout out my guy Taco Frog in the building. Froggy, how you doing? Yo, Frog's checking in. Appreciate you, Froggy. Hope all is well. Shout out to my guy Froggy, dope person on TikTok that I met. He's an Astro fan. Even though he's an Astro fan, he is still good in my book. I know we was talking about Altuve and stuff right now. Froggy, I hope all is well with you, my guy. Old Sarge is in the building. I got to shout out my good friend, Old Sarge, in the building. Kevin, NYC 85. Kev, how you doing? Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's to my guy. We got over 100 people in the building rocking out with us. We got 55 on YouTube. We're sitting at 28 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button. Hit that subscribe button. When it comes to our subscribers, we are at 4,878. We are right there at 5K. Help us get to 5K. Shout out to my guy, John. NYC Pinstripe Club is in the building. Another dope Yankee content creator that I met on TikTok. He has a YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to him on YouTube. Follow him on TikTok on all the social media platforms. Grace, I want to toss it over to you as I go and look on the interwebs for your Cody Bellinger video.
Thank you.
What would you like to talk about when it comes to the team?
I want to say real quick about Cody Bellinger, by the way. And
Do your thing.
I wanted to give a shout out to my old co-host from when I first joined Morning Brew Sports back in the day, Gio.
My guy Gio.
Shout out to Gio, because I remember, and this was over a year ago. Like, I don't even remember how long ago. It was over a year ago. He wanted Cody Bellinger on the team so bad. And I remember him telling me specifically, because I was like, yeah, Cody Bellinger, whatever. Like, I don't get it. He's fine. If we get him, that's fine. But his asking price is so much, blah, blah, blah. Like, and he told me, and I'll never forget, he told me, Grace, if we had Cody Bellinger on our team, he would become your favorite player. He told me that. And I was like, Gio, no way. Like, Well, I thought about him yesterday and this morning too, because when I was looking up all the stuff to bring up the Cody Bellinger, his batting stance, and how I just love watching his at bats. He's just such a, I don't know, he's so refreshingly like different. I thought about Gio saying that to me, and I'm like, Gio, you were right. You were right. I absolutely love Cody Bellinger. He is on the fast track to become one of my favorite Yankees. Absolutely. I always get attached to these one-year guys. I know he's got an option, and I don't know what he's going to do at the end of the season, but I hate getting attached to players that I don't know if they're going to be here for very long, because it just breaks my heart. But Juan Soto. But I absolutely wanted to give a shout out to Gio, because I remembered that he said that, and here we are.
I'm gonna say this right now. Cody Bellinger, he has won me over with the way that he has played in spring training. I cannot wait for the regular season. Again, it's spring training. Take it all with a grain of salt. You got guys hitting over 500 who probably won't even make the major league roster, right? But when it comes to what I'm seeing out of Cody Bellinger, when it comes to what I'm seeing out of our center field position, being a lefty bat, being that type of lefty bat in Yankee Stadium, I know we missed out on Juan Soto. Juan Soto is in Queens. He will be a Met for the next 15 years. I wish them all the best in Queens. Go have fun in Flushing. Do your thing. But I just know one thing. When it comes to the pulse of New York City sports, when it comes to baseball in New York City, there's only one team, and that's the New York Yankees. I say that to say this. This Sunday, I will be back on New York 1 with my guy Anthony Rivera, Subway to Shea, with our guy Rocco, previewing this upcoming baseball season. Like I said, New York 1, I will be on this Sunday. Make sure you guys are following on all social media platforms. I will repost the video on YouTube. I look forward to this season. Like I said, shout out to our good friend Dexter Henry from SNY New York Sports. Shout out to Rocco as well from New York Sports as well. There's a lot of things that we have cooking in the background here at Uptown Sports TV. Just make sure you guys are following. Make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button. Grace and I are going to have a lot of things coming when it comes to this baseball season, and I'm looking forward to it, right? We got the Yankees Morning Brew, as we always do, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to bring back the open panel. Hell, I maybe today, Grace, if you want, maybe throw out the open link and bring up some people for like 10, 15 minutes. I miss having conversations with old Sarge, and maybe Anthony Medina would join us. Maybe Jacob Petruzzi would join us. Shout out to my guy, Jacob Petruzzi, who is in the chat as well. One of the top moderators that are out there. Shout out to Jacob Petruzzi, who says, heck, my brother, listening to you from the Mohegan. Listen, I just came back from Vegas. I lost money. I didn't win any money. But what I did win, I had an amazing time with my girlfriend. And that's all that matters. Point blank, period.
Good for you, Hector. A little time in the desert. Good for you.
A little R&R is needed. All right. I want to shout out my guy, Cheesy Soul Cakes, in the building, who had put a chat, and it made me super hungry. I'm going to looking for it real quick, because Cheesy Soul Cakes, he said he's New York stripped steaks in the morning. He has something else there when it comes to food. So shout out to my guy, Cheesy Soul Cakes, who was in the building as well. Did you see, Grace, that the New York Yankees, they put out, before I get into that, because I could be losing my mind. I got the video that you wanted me to play. So I'm going to cue it up right here before we continue any of the conversation. This is Cody Bellinger, a.k.a. Grace's Monroe favorite new Yankee who's not named Jasson Dominguez.
The apologies were whatever. I thought Jim Cranes was weak. I thought Manfred's punishment was weak, giving him immunity. I mean, these guys were cheating for 3 years.
Period.
I think what people don't realize is Altuve stole an MVP from Judge in 17. Everyone knows they stole the ring from us. I don't know what human hits a walk-off home run against Chapman to send your team to the World Series. And one has the thought to say, don't rip my jersey off. But two, go in the tunnel, change your shirt, and then come out and do your interview. Like that makes no sense to me. It makes 0 sense to me. Because I know me. Gary Sanchez said yesterday, you can rip my shirt off, my pants off. I sent my team the World Series off for Chapman in the ninth inning at home. You can do, I'm going crazy. I thought the apologies were whatever.
And there you have it. There you have it. I mean, I have nothing else to say. That's straight from a major league ball player's mouth. He said that was weird. Doesn't make any sense. Seems suspicious. That's suspicious. And listen, we'll never know because the people who know will never say, right? Or maybe they will someday. Maybe we'll get a tell-all book someday. But until then, we're not going to know. But it's one thing for a Yankees fan to sit there and be like, they cheated, they did this, they did that, because I'm mad and I'm a Yankees fan and we got eliminated. But it's a whole nother thing for a player of a different team to be watching like a professional baseball player to be watching and to say that. So for me, I love that clip.
That sounded like a Yankee fan. That sounded like LA Yankee King. That sounded like one of us on Twitter or on TikTok, on YouTube.
He's one of us.
Going off, right? Cheesy sounds bitter to me. Yeah, a Met fan would say Cody Bellinger sounded bitter. Shout out to Cheesy Soul Cake in the building. But for me, Cody Bellinger said everything perfectly, 100%. You could tell that right there was his cover letter to joining the New York Yankees. That interview that he did, that soundbite that he did back then talking about Jose Altuve, he sent that personally to Brian Cashman, and Brian Cashman always had that in the back of his mind. That's what being a New York Yankee is all about. It's being petty at the most apparent moment to be petty, and that's what Cody Bellinger was. He was petty on top of petty. That right there is a New Yorker that rides the train and eats a bacon, egg, and cheese every day.
Come on down to the Bronx, baby. That's where you belong.
Facts. That's what he said. He sounded like somebody on the Grand Concourse being petty. Shout out to Cody Bellinger. All right. I got another video that I want to play because the Yankees, they did some sneaky stuff yesterday. If you guys are big on stadium food, they showed off some of the stadium food that you will be seeing this upcoming season. Shout out to Sharma Day Life, who put it out on TikTok. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of this stuff look good.
Oh man.
I'm gonna turn the music off. The music is bothering me.
Yeah. Wow. You shouldn't have showed this to me before I.
Oh man, this is the thing. This is what I hate. You see this Mr. Softy machine, right?
Yeah.
They have this They don't have that Mr. Softy machine in the press box, right? Where I'm at when I'm working and stuff like that. In Citi Field, they have it free for the people in the press. That's why, unfortunately, when it comes to working media, I like the Mets Media Lounge more than the Yankees, just because the Mets have the Mr. Softy machine. If the Yankees put the Mr. Softy machine in the Media Lounge, Grace, you would never hear me complain about the Yankees Media Lounge ever again.
Oh my God, the Media Lounge doesn't even have a Mr. Softy machine.
I need my Mr. Softy, Grace.
I'm in section 300, 301, okay? And Hector's like, I need self-serve ice cream in the
I need
room.
my free Mr.
Done.
Softy, okay?
I'm done with you. I can't. I remember, hey, Hector, I knew you when you was nobody, okay? And now look at you complaining about self-serve ice cream in the media room. Okay, it's fine.
Grace, there's priorities in life, right? All right, there's priorities in life. And for me, priority number one is making sure I have Mr. Softy. Anthony Medina knows what I'm saying. That's why he's laughing. He knows what Tina knows what I'm saying also. Thank you, Tina. When you grow up in New York City, right? There's priorities. If a Mr. Softy truck is coming down the street, you know that song in the back of your head. When it's one of those generic ice cream trucks that don't have Mr. Softy, you running from that music because the music sounds off, the speaker's busted, it's broken. New Yorkers know the sound of Mr. Softy, and we can hear that shit miles away. Okay.
All right. How about this? This message is for the New York Yankees and the New York Yankees alone. If you're not the New York Yankees, please go away. But I'm telling you right now, Grace Monroe will come to the media room and not complain about the fact that send me some tickets, send me the press credentials. I'll be in there and I will not complain. Okay? Thank you.
I will be at Yankees opening weekend. I'll be there that Sunday. I wasn't able to go for opening day or that Saturday. Opening day, I will be in Jersey, Asbury Park with Bernie Williams and Frank Luna. That Saturday, I'm with my nephew doing uncle duties. That Sunday, Anthony, I'm gonna miss you that Saturday, but that Sunday I will be at Yankee Stadium. I will be with the Bleacher Creatures. I will be with the Bodega Mob. If you guys know what a bodega is, you know what a bodega is. If you don't know, you need to find out. But also, for this entire season, if you guys are at Yankee Stadium, and if I'm going to be there, make sure you guys are hitting me up. I'm going to be meeting up with fans outside of the state. I was just about to bring his name up, and he just popped up in the chat. Shout out to my guy Caleb, who is in the building. Caleb says, Hector, I got you. A friend of mine who is in charge of the Mr. Softy at Yankee Stadium. I'm going to let him know. Thank you so much, Caleb. But this is the one thing. Shout out to my guy Caleb. Caleb is a dope content creator. Caleb is somebody that I met at Yankee Stadium last year. Amazing human being. I was able to catch a game with him at spring training for his birthday weekend. Caleb and I will be at the stadium interviewing fans outside of the stadium, inside of the stadium. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Make sure you guys are tapped in. Shout out to my guy Caleb. It's crazy how he came in right when I was mentioning it and saying it as well. Appreciate you, Caleb. I'm gonna throw the link for the open panel in the chat, right? Just for 15 minutes. We're going to rock out with the open panel. We haven't done the open panel for a while, so we're going to do it next week, Tuesday. We got Ryan from Fireside Yankees. He will be on with us. Next week, Thursday, we got the Ace Avenue. Our guy Ace will be on with us to preview opening day, Yankees versus the Milwaukee Brewers. That's very weird. Yankees versus the Brewers to start off the season. I wanted to ask you about that. What's your thoughts with this whole and like this new scheduling with the interleague games? What's your thought? Yankees versus Brewers opening day. It's very random.
It is random. And I know Nestor's going to be on the mound. It's going to be all the feels. We're going to have Devin Williams. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, it is random. I don't really know how to feel about it. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And one thing I got to say, it felt like the people who are in charge of Major League Baseball when it comes to the schedule, they know what they're doing, right? Because not last year, the year before we got Juan Soto, when Arson Judge was supposed to sign with the San Francisco Giants and he didn't. That first opening day, that first series was against the San Francisco Giants. So they were making that schedule hoping that Aaron Judge was to sign with the Giants in the offseason. He came back to Yankees saying, boom, boom. Same thing last year, starting the season on the road against the Astros, our big rival who's kicked our ass in the postseason. Right when we traded for Juan Soto, we started the season against the Astros. And now with Nestor Cortez being in Milwaukee, Devin Williams being with the Yankees, I think the storybook writers took this opportunity to say, you know what, we need some clickbait, and this is some clickbait.
Yeah, I mean, Cortez was our opening day pitcher last year. So now he's the opening day pitcher, but for the other team. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I don't know what else to say. I like that they come to Texas a little bit more.
Hey, there you go.
I can see them for selfish reasons, but you know.
Yeah, all right. One more thing before we get out here. Alex Almonte, who says, who is going to be our number 2 starter for the season for us? It's Rodon. Carlos Rodon is our number 2 starter, right? When we have Max Fried, who is going to be our number 1 with Gerrit Cole being out. And this is why the Yankees went out there and signed Max Fried. There's a lot of reports now that the Yankees knew that something was wrong with Gerrit Cole. And it kind of makes sense now. When hindsight 20/20, 50/50, however you want to look at it, it kind of makes sense, right, Grace? Because game 1 of the World Series, Gerrit Cole was money. He was money for the 6-7 innings that he pitched, and the Yankees took him out at 88 pitches, right? And hearing Derek Jeter, I was going through footage from the World Series, and Derek Jeter said that was the biggest mistake that the Yankees did, was taking Gerrit Cole out when he only had 88 pitches. He brought up Mark Leiter pitching in the World Series for the Mets. He was like, Mark Leiter threw 140 pitches. So to me, looking back on that, looking back on the comments that Derek Jeter said, looking back at that last start that he made, that 5th inning where his last few pitches didn't look like he was 100% with it. To me, it goes to show that something was wrong with Gerrit Cole in the World Series. That's why the Yankees took him out at 88 pitches.
I totally agree. And at the time, if you remember, now I'm all sad because we're talking about Daddy Cole.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
At the time, if you remember, right before we went into the postseason, I said, and we talked about the fact that Gerrit Cole was about to give whatever he had left to give in his arm. We knew he was having elbow problems, right? He was on the IL for months last year and came back. He was shaky at the beginning. He had to go through, settling in and all this stuff. And we didn't really see him quite looking like himself really until right before the postseason and the postseason. And he was still an above average pitcher, but he wasn't himself. And in the postseason, I said, if he has anything left to give, he's going to give it right now. And that's exactly what we saw. And it's interesting because as our role as fans and on this podcast, and we dissect every move that Aaron Boone does, and we dissect everything, but we don't know everything. We don't know the whole story, right? So Booney could have known about this, and the office could have known about this. And that's why they took him out. And everybody screamed, oh, Aaron Boone is such an idiot. He took him out, la, la, la. But what we don't know could fill a book. You know what I mean? They're all dealing with all kinds of things. There's a lot of information we don't, obviously, we're not in the Yankees organization, but it's just something to keep in mind because, like you said, when you look back on it, it all makes sense. So...
I'm laughing at Hector. Shout out to Hector Cruz in the chat who says, I heard Joey Gallo is available to be our 5th starter. Shout out to Hector Cruz. Oh, Alex, I see what you're saying. Rodon is starting number 1 for us opening day, not free. I guess that's what you're saying. Rodon is going to be the opening day starter for us, not Max Fried. But on paper, if I had to list it, who's number 1, who's number 2, 3, 4, 5, et cetera, to me, Max Fried's number 1. Carlos Rodon is number 2 as well. We got somebody backstage, and it's been a minute since Theo Nosebleed section joined us, right? So I'm going to bring up Theo Nosebleed so he could join me and Grace for the conversation. Nosebleed, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out with us. Okay, he's good right there. Theo Nosebleed section, how are you doing? Yeah. Got that Yankees brew. I see you.
Yeah.
Who is it? Oh my God. It's been too long.
Hold on. Wait. It says nosebleed section on the cup. That is awesome. That is fire.
Yeah. Looking good, Nosebleed. Got the Yankees beard, well kept Yankees beard looking. Yeah, with your official mug. Love it.
How you feeling, Nosebleed? Can you hear us? Is there a delay?
It's a rule now. You gotta.
Oh, I think there's a delay on your end, Nosebleed. I'm gonna drop you, Nosebleed, refresh and join back with us. I think he has a delay on his end. Yeah, that's what it is. Nosebleed, just refresh the stream and just join back with us. Close out your YouTube, whatever you're watching, and just join back with us. If you're watching on your phone, if you're joining with your phone may be overheated. So just close out the app and just reopen it back up.
Speaking of technology, have you seen these AI replays they're doing?
I hate it.
I can't stand it.
AI is the bane of my existence. I hate AI. I hate it. I hate the fact that we have Yankee content creators that are out there using AI. Like, what are you doing? Dude, be better with your life choices.
Everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh, the old people hate the AI replays." I'm like, I'm not old. Okay,
no,
I'm not old.
It's not that I'm maybe 35, turning 36. Copy. If you want to label me Unk, I'll take the title of Unk and I'll wear that shit proudly. But my thing when it comes to AI, specifically AI artwork, if you understand how it works, AI artwork, what it does is if you type in a prompt, it searches the internet for other people's artwork and they take it and recreate what you want from other people's art. You're stealing other people's art when you're using AI. Again, I'm gonna get off my high horse. I'm gonna bring up Nosebleed so he could join us in the conversation. Theo Nosebleed, how you doing? You good now? Oh, think he may be having some technical issues. All right, so I'm gonna keep Nosebleed there for a little bit. And if there's any more,
they're showing it as a replay instead of replaying the play with the players and the athletes on the field. They're instantly doing an AI version of the replay. It's ridiculous.
What it is what they're doing is it's like this. If I take your video, right, and I put your video in the editing software that I use, Adobe Premiere, right, I could remove your background and take you from the video and place it onto another image, and that's what they're doing. It just looks very bad, and it doesn't look like they figured out the kinks. There's
Just
potential.
play the replay. I don't get it.
There's potential with it. They just haven't figured out how to get it to actually fully work.
I hate it.
Yeah. Nosebleed, I'm not sure. Okay. We're going to try this one more time, Nosebleed. Let's see if we could get this to work. Oh, he just left again. I think. All right. Yeah.
Also,
all right. So how about this? I have this video that I want to play, right? It's about Gerrit Cole, right? It's from our friend Brendan London from New York Sports, SNY. And he's talking to the doctor, one of the doctors from NYU Langone, about Gerrit Cole's injury.
The Yankees ace Gerrit Cole's season-ending Tommy John surgery on his right elbow have been prevented. In today's injury report, we're talking with Dr. Mehul Shah, sports orthopedic surgeon at NYU Langone Health. Doc, thanks for hopping on with us. Let's get straight into this because whether you're a Mets fan or a Yankees fan, these pictures are dropping like flies this spring training. And this is actually the second consecutive spring that Gerrit Cole is dealing with an elbow injury. Last season, he was sidelined in March with right elbow inflammation, and he didn't make his regular season debut until June. So, Doc, because of what he went through within that elbow last season, was his latest injury something that was just completely inevitable? And should he have gotten surgery prior to spring training?
Good question, Brandon. Nice to see you again. So what we can gather from the information released last season by the treating physicians, during a similar time in the spring, he was experiencing pain on the inside of his elbow. He was evaluated by his team physicians and even his current treating physician, Dr. Elatrosh in LA. And what they found was that there was some inflammation and swelling on the inside of his elbow, possibly even involving the nerve or the ulnar nerve, which is in close proximity to this ulnar collateral ligament or Tommy John ligament. And it was deemed at the time he didn't need surgery. They shut him down and he didn't return until June. But then he was able to pitch, high quality outings all the way through the World Series. So I would say they made the right decision at the time. Clearly now something has changed, and when he was reevaluated this season, the same doctor said he needed surgery. So clearly something is worse now.
But now here goes the $1 million question, Doc. Let's say a non-professional athlete were to tear their UCL and couldn't go out to UCLA to get the top surgeon to work on that elbow. Would you recommend Tommy John surgery, and how would their recovery differ?
Right. So typically the Tommy John surgery is reserved for the elite professional athlete, semi-pro, collegiate athlete with future aspirations that throw at very, very, very high velocities. Typically for the non-professional, they typically do well with conservative management, physical therapy, activity modification, and rest. We only really talk about surgery in a non-professional athlete as a last resort.
And again, is this something that could have been prevented? Yeah. Ifs and buts and whatnots and stuff like that. But when it comes to pitching in Major League Baseball, we understand that starting pitchers, they have a ticking time bomb on their elbow, especially nowadays with the different pitchers, with the different torques. Everybody likes to compare this to like the 70s and 80s. You got to understand, Babe Ruth, as much as we love Babe Ruth, he never faced a pitcher who threw a slider. right? He never faced a pitcher who threw a knuckle curve. He never faced a pitcher who threw a splitter, right? The pitches that are thrown in Major League Baseball in 2025 are different than the pitches that are thrown in the 70s, in the 80s, and even in the 90s, right? Nowadays, every team has at least one guy coming out the bullpen throwing 100 miles per hour. In the 90s, in the 80s, if you had anybody throwing that hard, you had a unicorn, right? That was an anomaly, right? And nowadays, it feels like everybody is throwing 100 miles per hour, right? So things are different in 2025 when you compare them to the 80s and to the 90s, right? One thing my guy Anthony Gallo likes to say that fat doesn't cramp up, or you can't, players nowadays, they're pulling hamstrings. You can't pull fat. And that's one thing my guy Anthony Gallo loves to say. Shout out to Gallo. Shout out to Pete Kennedy and Al Cintron, Theo Allen friends. They will not be on tonight. They will be back on next week, Thursday. We got Old Sarge backstage. Old Sarge is back there. Sarge, you let me know when you're ready to rock out. He just gave me the fingers. I think he's talking Secret Service right now. It looks very important phone call.
One of my, I have to say, this is so random, but you were just talking about pitches and the evolution of pitching in baseball, and it reminded me of one of my favorite quotes from one of my childhood baseball movies, which I'm not going to say the name because y'all have to drop the name in the chat if you know what the movie I'm talking about. But it's, I haven't seen the floater pitch since Scruffy McGee.
Oh, Rookie of the Year.
Yes! Oh my God. I love to say that. It's hilarious, but it's so true. Like, baseball has definitely evolved. I mean, we're talking about Babe Ruth played over 100 years ago. I mean, I know we love to talk about the Babe and act like he was just, around a couple decades ago, but it was over 100 years ago. So yeah, everything is changed.
Fun fact from that movie Rookie of the Year. Sarge, I'll bring you up right now. I see you off the phone. Nosebleed, I get to you as well after Sarge. The director of that movie was the tall, skinny guy, the equipment guy. He from Home Alone. That actor, he was the director of that movie, and he was the director of the movie. Yeah, the company who produced the movie or who put it out there wanted him to be in as many scenes as possible because of Home Alone and the success of Home Alone. He didn't want to be in like any of the. He didn't want the story to be around him. If you watch the movie, watch it with what I just said in the back of your head. Every scene he's in, he purposely writes himself trapped so he doesn't continue in the scene, so it goes to somebody else. Watch the movie again with what I just said. Every scene, yes, Marv.
I remember being trapped.
Every scene he's in, he's trapped so he doesn't progress in the story. So he passes it off to another character. He did that purposefully. Again, I'm big into movies. That was a fun little movie secret if you didn't know. Sarge, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out with us. We got Old Sarge in the building. Old Sarge, how you doing?
How we doing?
Good seeing you. Great having you back. You look amazing, my guy.
No, I look like the creature who ate Old Sarge.
No,
you don't.
So the Yankees relax their beard standards. I figured I'd join in.
There you go.
Love it.
Can
you pitch? Can you pitch? We're looking for some pitchers.
We need a fresh starter, Sarge.
But no, to the discussion about the Babe, I think all of those athletes had their own innate ability to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if you took the Babe or Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays or Jackie Robinson, and you train that innate ability to play the game to today's physical standards, they would be as good or better.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I get the point, because when you look at players like Ted Williams, the skill may not be the same as it is in 2025, but that doesn't take away the drive. That doesn't take away their work ethic. That doesn't take away the hustle that each one of those players played on the field. And you saw that from the highlights films and from the stories that we heard from yesteryears.
Yeah. I mean, the drive, especially with someone like a Ted Williams, but you take that innate ability, Heck, to make contact with the ball and train it to today's physical standards, he would be an absolute friggin' monster.
Yeah.
So
going on the stadium.
Speaking about absolute friggin' monsters, Grace, no, we're not trading Spencer Jones. No.
Loch Ness monster, maybe.
I got to if all he ever does is hit 250, he's going to walk into 40 bombs at Yankee Stadium. I have to see in my lifetime what 475 feet down the right field line looks like. I have to see that at least once. So on top of that, he's the best center fielder in the system. So,
well, I will tell you this, old Sarge. They're not going to trade Spencer Jones because he doesn't have any value and nobody wants him. But I'm just kidding. What I wanted to ask you about your other point was, what do you think a player like Aaron Judge would look like if he played back with Babe and all that? Like, because you were saying like an athlete is an athlete, right? But these athletes today that are tuned so differently, playing back then, I think there is something to be said for the rigorous things that they endure. But however, I want to say, like, they seem like they're made of glass, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, it's I also think that there was something to the players of that generation, Grace, playing hurt. Now, if you took Judge and ported him back to the 1930s as he is now,
he had 100 home runs easily.
People would be like, Babe who?
Yeah.
So that would be that. But what's the end result of the high level of physical training? So you look at somebody like Stanton, and I've had tennis elbow. So to light put a little light on that discussion, I could have tennis elbow and I could do all the things physically that I need to do in terms of working out and do whatever, and it wouldn't affect me at that time. It was afterwards, and like trying to do this motion with my arm, that it would hurt like a son of a bitch. So, but I could still do the workouts. So if there's any reason why he didn't have any surgery or have it looked at last year, is because he could still take the at bats. But it's afterwards that, your elbows look like basketballs, and it's just like, okay, so that would be that part of it. So just his ability to play, I mean, it wasn't affected as much as his ability to recover. But you talk about, I mean, that guy is a finely tuned instrument. But I mean, you play hard at all. I mean, and it's out of tune like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So to find somebody who's a little bit more rugged and whatever. Hey, maybe there's something to it, Grace, about some of these guys just having a few beers and some hot dogs every now and then.
And they didn't, like Sean Browning pointed out, the batting helmets back then weren't what it is today. So if you take one off your noggin, you just lights out. Shout out to Sean Browning in the chat. No, you're not invisible, my guy. I see you, baby. Shout out to Sean Browning in the chat, who says Cy Young pitched every 2 to 3 days, right?
Wow, really?
But another thing is, when you look at it, right, and I have a video here that I want to play, and I'll get to it. And I'll let Sarge get back to his points. Is that, again, there's no way, it's unfair to say what would Babe Ruth do in this day and age and what would this player do in that day and age, because there's no way for us to actually make it happen. We can't jump in a time machine. We can't bring Judge to the past, and we can't bring Babe Ruth to the future. So a lot of people that like to harpen on the past and talk about the yesteryears, Babe Ruth is phenomenal. He's a great legend in sports history and the lexicon of the United States of America, of this great game that we love called baseball. But at the time, the average mile power on a fastball was 70 miles per hour. That was there. Walter Johnson was the only pitcher back then that was throwing over 90 miles per hour. And apparently he topped out at like 92 and 93 miles per hour. There was no radar guns back then. So how they did the testing was very weird. They would just run cars next to people, which I thought was fucking stupid. But there's way to, if you're watching the video today, there's way to do the math to try to get a guesstimation of what they thrown. And from the reports and the studies done, the average fastball was like 70, 74 miles per hour when Babe Ruth played.
So, I mean, and to that point, in terms of kind of passing it down from generation to generation. So I guess on a couple of occasions, and definitely on one occasion with Bob Gibson, Mickey Mantle was quoted. So with the once facing Sandy Koufax,
Mhm.
and once facing Bob Gibson. I think Koufax was on his ridiculous curveball, and the other one on Bob Gibson's fastball, and Mantle getting struck out looking and turning to the umpire and says, "How the fuck does anybody hit that?"
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, so I mean, so what you figure what Mantle was facing at the beginning of his career in the 1950s, and then towards the middle or the end of the 1960s. So but no, actually, my father's really good at this one, and I'll leave you with this. So he always likes to tell the story of when he took my mother to see the Yankees in the summer of 1968. And Mickey Mantle's last 2 home run game, and the innate ability that Mantle had is that one of the home runs that he hit was a check swing that went straight down the left field line, which they had the low fence in left field back in the old stadium. Said hit a chair and then went up in the air about 40 feet, and there was only like 10,000 people in the stadium that day, so you could hear the bang that when it hit the chair, and he said on a check swing that was the hardest ball that I've ever seen hit. So you talk about innate ability. So you train that to today's standards, and you're going to get players that would have played better. So, but
I was just gonna say it's like having a Maserati engine that's like fine tuned and it has agility. It hugs the road and it gives you these whatever.
Yeah.
And then one piece of dust gets in it, it breaks, and you get a $5,000 repair. Or my old Honda that I don't even change the oil in, that runs forever, 300,000 miles, still going. You know what I mean?
And that's I mean, to that point, Grace, it's just like maybe these guys should have a few beers and eat a few hot dogs and come back from being the Maserati or the Grand Prix racer.
I was gonna say with how the game is set up today, Mickey Mantle doesn't play as much as he did in 2025 like he did back then, right? There was no union back then. Players had no rights back then. So Mickey Mantle injured, Lou Gehrig injured, playing with broken bones. They were forced to play in games that they should not have played in. There were times that Mickey Mantle, his alcoholism, I think with how teams are in 2025, it would have been controlled. He would have got help for it, and probably his career would have lasted longer than what it actually did. Mickey Mantle was out there playing with hip infections, with cesspit in his hips, eating away at his hips during that season. He was him and Maris was trying to chase 61 home runs. Right. So a lot when it comes to just the medical side of thing, I think players in 2025 are better off than players from back in the day. And there's so many players that who had arm issues that if the technology was around today, they would have never called the Cy Young Award the Cy Young Award. They would have called it the Sandy Koufax Award, because Sandy Koufax, he blew out his UCL before the Tommy John surgery was a thing.
Yeah.
So there was so many different pitchers that had to end their career early because of it.
I think forced heck might be a bit of a strong word. I think for a lot of them, especially for Mantle, might have been the innate drive. The other thing is you don't play, you don't get paid.
Yeah, that's the whole force. That's the whole force thing. You're forcing players because you don't play, you don't get paid, you get cut from the team. Your money's not guaranteed.
Yeah. So there definitely are those protections. So that's something that we could get a case of beer and
oh yeah, definitely.
And some hot dogs.
And some hot dogs. Sarge, before I let you go, because we have some other people that's down there, let's get your predictions when it comes to this upcoming season. Opening day is next week, Thursday. What's your thoughts with Jasson Dominguez? What's your thoughts with third base? What's your thoughts with Benny Blanco from the Bronx, aka Ben Rice?
Okay. Do you ever see Rocky 3?
Yes, sir.
My prediction. No, check it out. So I'm going to say north of 90 wins in spite of Aaron Boone, because the Yanks are going to have a 50-game midseason slump as they have every year. Ben Rice is going to excel. Third base will be the riddle wrapped in the joke, wrapped in an enigma that it always is. And I got a feeling that Volpe is going to get booed out of the Bronx. I think he's done. I think he's done.
Oh, okay.
It's either it's put up or shut up time.
Okay, all right. Listen, Sarge, you know I love you, Sarge. Love your takes. Love you coming back up on the open panel. I look forward to this upcoming season. And again, when I'm down south, you got to take me to the, you know what I mean?
Okay,
You already know.
I got you all set up. We actually I'm talking about some exotic weapons. I'm talking about actually moving and shooting, doing transition drills from rifle to pistol. We're gonna do it up.
All right.
So we'll do it up. All right, kids.
Y'all talking my language. I'm for Texas.
There we go.
That's what we do on the weekends.
So, Sarge, I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Like always, great seeing you back on the open panel. I'll see you next time, Unc. All right, you take care, brother.
You. All right, kids.
You too, Sarge.
All right, that's our good friend, Old Sarge. Let's try this again with Theo Nosebleed section. Theo Nosebleed, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out. Nosebleed, is that audio good now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. We can hear you.
It was hooked up to my headset that I don't use. I had to fix it.
Oh, okay. It's fine, Theo. Let's get your take. You've been listening to the conversation. It's great to see that beautiful face back on the open panel, Theo. We missed you.
Yes, I definitely missed everybody, and I had bought a new bunk just so I could be on camera.
There you go. My man's coming prepared. Let's get your take on the convo, Theo. Whatever you want to talk about, the floor is yours. We got Jonathan backstage and Li. Bring you guys up in a second. Go ahead, Nosebleed. And we're gonna just do this for the next 5 or 10 minutes, just because I gotta dip out. I gotta go do grocery shopping. Go ahead, Nosebleed.
Yankees will win 92. Rice will make you say Giancarlo who?
What? In the postseason?
8 people in this lineup will hit 20 plus home runs.
I love that, Sarge. I love that, Nosebleed. I love that, Theo Nosebleed.
Who's the one who's not hitting 20 home runs?
Whoever plays third.
Okay, all right.
I said on the current roster because you never know.
Okay. Nosebleed, I want to get your take real quick when it comes to the starting rotation. When it comes to like I asked Sarge, Ben Rice, what's your thoughts on that? How is that going to work out? And what's your expectations when it comes to J Dom?
I think Jasson Dominguez will be fine. He needs time, right? In spring training, he's starting to come around, so you just got to give him a little time. He's got the guys around him that can help him. Bellinger, he has Judge, he has Grisham that can show him, try to teach him a little bit how to play the outfield. He'll be all right.
Yeah, good points.
Even though I'm not a fan, but he wears my pinstripes, so I'm a fan.
That's it. That's it. Listen, we're fans of the patch in the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey, because we don't got names on the back of the jersey. Point blank, period.
To quote Keith McPherson, who went on the crusade to get Frank canceled from being played after we lose games and get the beard policy enacted. And Hector's on the crusade for Mr. Softy in the media room. So things are changing, I mean, it's an exciting time.
Listen, shout out to my good friend Keith McPherson. And like you said, he's been pushing heavy for the Yankees not to play Frank after a loss. He's been saying that for the past several years since I've known Keith McPherson. And you know what? He's 100% right. And I'm glad that the Yankees listened, because that first day when I was there for spring training and the Yankees lost and they didn't play Frank, you would have thought the Yankees won the World Series because of all the conversation that was going on. That's the first thing that I noticed. That's the first thing that every other Yankee fan noticed. That, oh, wait, they're not playing Frank. This is great.
I brought him up because he always says we root for the laundry, right? We root for whoever's wearing the pinstripes. We root for the laundry. That's why I brought him up. And Nosebleed was saying, even though he's not the biggest Jasson Dominguez fan, he wants him to do well, just like I wanted Gleyber to do well, even though, wasn't a fan. But
what's your thoughts on Gleyber hitting that home run against the Yankees the other day, the last time they played?
Nosebleed?
No, I'm asking you, Grace. What's your?
I said, and next, I don't miss you. I said, Alexa, play "He Wasn't Man Enough for Me" by Tony Braxton. Because, bye.
I gotta shout out to Ace, my guy Ace, with the $5 super chick sticker, helping us keep the lights on over here. Like I said, next week Thursday, Ace will be on with us in the morning, previewing the Yankees opening day. I will be on with Ace as well that day, and also after that, I will be out in Jersey at Asbury Park. As for some reason, people forget I have a show right now, and everybody and their mother is calling me right now. Nosebleed.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Nosebleed. Speaking of people who, you rooted for because they were wearing the pinstripes and not everybody was a fan, I know Nosebleed was a Clay Holmes defender for a lot of the year last year. So speaking of people who moved on and are doing well on their new teams, we were talking about Gleyber Torres and the Tigers and Nosebleed, want to ask you, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like I was right all along, rubbing it in people's faces that Clay Holmes is having such a good spring with the Mets? How are you feeling about the whole Clay Holmes thing?
I think Clay Holmes will win 15 for the Mets.
Wow. Okay. See, I knew it. I knew this was a question for Nosebleed. And he's going to be their opening day starter, I think.
And he's going to win. He's going to win opening day.
Shout out to Spinning Mantis in the chat who says, hey, I grew up in Asbury Park with Spinning Mantis. I will be there next week, Thursday, with my guy, Frankie Luna, Theo Nosebleed section. Appreciate you joining us on the open panel. Let's get your thoughts next week, Thursday. What's the score? I know we're going to have this conversation again, but what's your score, Yankee opening day?
8-4.
8-4. That's what I'm talking about. Theo Nosebleed section, one of the best that are out there. We appreciate you, Nosebleed. Like always, much love. I'll see you again on the open panel. That was Theo Nosebleed section. We got a couple of more people that I want to bring up before we get out of here. David Gonzalez is in the building. Shout out to David Gonzalez. We're gonna make it fast. I'm gonna bring up Li and I'm gonna bring up Jonathan real quick to join us. Jonathan, how you doing? Li, Yankee King, how you doing? First of all, Li, the only troll in the Yankee universe I acknowledge is my good friend, my buddy, old pal, Li Yankee King. I love Li Yankee King. I love the beard. I love the hair. How you doing, Li? You're muted, Li. This is why I love Li. I
already know what I'm going to ask Li. I was talking to him last night on Twitter, okay? He gave like all these predictions for the season, not only just about the Yankees, but about how he thought each division was going to finish and the postseason and everything. And I'm reading it. And he picked the Athletics to win the AL West. And I commented, I said, I'm so interested to hear why, you think that. And he said that the lineup is really long. And
he ain't the only one. I'm right there with him. I think the A's could be a solid team out the West. Li, I'll let you go first since you haven't been up here. Go ahead, Li. And then we toss it over to our good friend Jonathan, who works at the gym, right? We got to toss it over to Jonathan afterwards, okay? He works at Equinox, all right? Just so everybody knows. Go ahead, Li.
With the A's, I like their lineup. I like their young guys. They have prospects to spare where they can send off young guys and spin them off for assets that they need. Whether it's another outfielder, because they might not believe in Miguel Andujar as their current left fielder, JJ Bleday, who's a stud, Lawrence Butler, stud, Brant Rooker, stud. I like Shane Langeliers. And the Astros, I'm looking at the roster where's the depth? Houston? They're playing Jose Altuve and Cam Smith in the outfield. You know what they actually are? Infielders. They're infielders.
Yeah, they lost Kyle Tucker.
Jose Altuve is a second baseman. Cam Smith is a third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't wrong with that one. Listen, for me,
you don't think the Rangers are gonna be any good?
Their pitching is made of glass.
Yeah. Okay.
Jacob the Glass.
Yeah. If the Rangers, if their starting pitching can stay healthy, the Rangers can make some noise in the AL West. But I like how the Oakland Athletics look. I think Lawrence Butler I think Lawrence Butler is at the ceiling of becoming an all-star, right? They have their first baseman, Nick Kurtz, who I wanted the Yankees when they were missing the postseason. That's the guy that I wanted the Yankees to draft. Obviously, it never happened, but he's a solid first baseman, great defense, great power. I think the Oakland Athletics can make some noise in that AL West. Jonathan, my guy Jonathan, a.k.a. Mr. Do Your Fucking Job, is in the building. Jonathan, how you doing today?
I'm good. I had a very eventful past couple days. Maybe I'll text you about it.
You can text me, bro. You can text me. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, it's the Sacramento A's. I apologize. Sunil had to point it out in the chat. Perdóname, Sunil. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Technically, it's the Sacramento, soon to be Las Vegas A's.
There you go.
I honestly think the Yankees will do as much as they can with the system. It's gonna be it might be a hard year this year with especially Cole out. They should, in my opinion, give every opportunity to the minor leaguers before thinking of trades. Especially if Hal wants to lower the system, find out what you have in the system before trading their ass to someone else. That's the only way to build the system is to give your young guys a chance, not call them up, have them wait on the bench for fucking 2 months before you actually play them.
Austin Wells.
Oswaldo Cabrera, remember?
Yeah.
Peraza.
All those other young guys they could have given a chance. And I think Jasson Dominguez is going to have a breakout year. I think if he plays every day, he gets work on an outfield, you're going to be saying Juan Sohu.
Exactly. And Anna Marie just said, Jonathan, $2 in the swear jar because you dropped the F-bomb. Shout out to Anna Marie who was in the chat.
New York.
Shout out to our good friend Nathan in the building as well. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. David Gonzalez, Grace. Any last words for Li and Jonathan before we get out of here? What's your last thoughts? Because I'm gonna let them go and then we're gonna close the show out.
Okay, I appreciate y'all coming on. It's great to see y'all and have an open panel again. I hope you come back on again soon. And with the season starting, I'm really, really excited to have more current events to talk about. I'm so tired of trying to figure out who's going to make the roster, who's not going to make the roster. We're going to know all these things next week. It's going to be so exciting. But my last thoughts are what I'd really like to hear from y'all, because Li brought up Austin Wells, and this is something that we didn't really talk about today, but Austin Wells, it looks like, will be hitting leadoff for the Yankees, at least to start the season. What are you guys' thoughts about that? What are your feelings about that? And that's it. I want to hear your.
I like the idea. I think he can provide walks when needed. He can hit the ball. So I like the idea that the Yankees are thinking out of the box. They're not just a top-heavy team anymore. They're thinking more all around. Yeah. I have a good feeling. Although Wells is not your typical leadoff hitter, because typical leadoff hitters are more like speedy. Remind me of Brett Gardner. A lot of speed, can walk, but we don't have Brett Gardner on this team.
Li, what's your thoughts? Same question. Go ahead.
Well, Austin Wells is in the 56th percentile of sprint speed, so he does have average speed. But I wanted Austin Wells in the top of the order before it was cool to put him in the top of the order. So thank you, Boone, for stealing my idea, by the way, even though you probably didn't see that at all. But just putting him above, whatever. I wanted Dominguez, Wells, Judge, just because I wanted Judge 3 because Judge likes hitting 3. But I like Wells at the top of the order because then Judge can see the good amount of pitches. Because throughout Wells' career, I know he didn't have a good postseason or September, blah, blah, blah. Show off with that. Who cares? Austin Wells will be one of the best leadoff hitters in this game. I believe that wholeheartedly. I absolutely love Austin Wells.
Yeah.
This man should be extended today. In between the break of spring training, sorry. I get confused. I'm autistic. Shut up. In between spring training and opening day, I better see Austin Wells get a 9-year, $90 million extension plopped in front of his face hole immediately and extended to be the catcher of the future. Please
Listen.
and thank you, Hal.
Listen, Al,
This is the one thing I will
we right
agree
there,
with
Li.
Li. I think the Yankees should extend their young players early before arbitration.
I agree with both Jonathan and Li. Li, me and you, Tism twins. We right there, baby. Tism Mafia. That's me and you. What I say about Austin Wells, if I didn't see Austin Wells lead off games in the minors, I wouldn't like that take. But the fact that I've seen him be the leadoff hitter for the Yankees in the minor league system, and the same lineup that Jasson Dominguez was in as well. They had Austin Wells leading it off, then Jasson Dominguez. I 100% agree with you, Li, and your take. When it comes to Austin Wells, he does has average speed. He's faster than DJ LeMahieu, who was the leadoff hitter for a couple of seasons for the Yankees. But it's his on-base percentage, which is what makes Austin Wells so valuable. You have Austin Wells leading it off with Aaron Judge right behind him, and then Cody Bellinger. That's a scary 1, 2, and 3. If Austin Wells could just live up to the potential of his hitting prowess. So I'm right there with you, Li. I appreciate you, Li. I appreciate you, Jonathan, as
Hector,
well. What's up, baby?
You want to hear 2 hot takes?
Go ahead, make them real quick because I gotta go get some. I gotta get me a bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm hungry.
I gotta go. I gotta go. So I'll talk to you later.
Bye, Jonathan.
Later, Jonathan.
Jasson Dominguez wins the Gold Glove in left field. Yankees win 99 games.
There you go. LA Yankee King. I love when LA Yankee King comes up here and just he just spreads the salt.
These are correct takes.
Li, last year when you was talking about Aaron Judge moving to first base and everybody was killing you for that on Twitter, but when I was there at the Yankee game and he was working at first base,
what happened in spring training, buddy? What happened? Everybody in the comments
I'm praying that they move Aaron Judge to first base just so you can have your victory parade, just so you could be petty. Just so you could be petty Betty, I'm praying for you to have that moment, bro.
Hector, my headphones cut out. Sorry, I'm wearing headphones, as you can see. They cut out. I gotta say
the Yankees. Aaron Judge was playing. He was taking some grounders at first base just to get familiar with it.
That cut out. Sorry, that wasn't me being the heel. That cut out. My bad.
Li, I love you, my guy. Appreciate you like always. I look forward to this baseball season. I look forward to following you on Twitter. Make sure you guys are following my brother Li. Li, make sure you join us on the TikTok live panels. You were killing it. Everybody loved you. Yeah, everybody loved you. I'll make sure that I'll send it to you. Li, I'll holler at you, my guy. Later, brother. That's my guy, Li Yankee King. The only troll I acknowledge in the Yankee universe is my good friend Li. Grace, I got this one video, and we're out of this after this.
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, before we leave, I just wanted to say that March Madness starts tonight, and my alma mater, Texas A&M, is playing tonight against Yale. So everybody, please yell for the Aggies, Giga Aggies, and that's all I wanted to say.
Yes. So this is last video, and then we're out of here after this.
You ever wonder how fast MLB pitchers actually threw to Babe Ruth? Walter Johnson, one of the best pitchers of his day, was said to have thrown over 90 miles per hour. But that's just our guess because there weren't radar guns. In fact, the first radar guns did not appear in MLB ballparks until the 1970s. They used to have to do ridiculous stunts like throw a pitch alongside a motorcycle to compare the speed. Yes, this actually happened. It's as crazy as you would think. I've always wanted to understand the old-timers' pitching speed because honestly, I've been skeptical. So I did some research into the numbers, and this is my best attempt to find an answer. Baseball books in the 1970s mentioned that pitchers that threw 90 miles an hour were flamethrowers, and that throwing in the mid-80s was good. We know that Nolan Ryan threw over 100 miles an hour, but he was a definite outlier in comparison to his peers. Looking at the data that we do have available, in 2022, the average fastball velocity was 93.9 miles an hour. Based on the stats from the last 20 years, we can determine the average fastball velocity has gone up 4 miles per hour. If we use this stat and then work backwards, we can determine the average fastball velocity in the 1920s was around 74 miles per hour. While this may not seem very fast, the evidence today shows that this theory may be correct. In the 1920s, it was common for the top starting pitchers to throw over 300 innings. Well, nowadays, the top starting pitchers throw more like 200 innings. If pitchers nowadays threw 50% more innings, it'd be very unlikely they're going to throw just as fast. The human arm gets tired sometimes. There are also Fangraph studies done about how pitch velocity can impact strikeouts. In the 1920s, there were less strikeouts, which I think can largely be attributed to slower pitch speeds. And look at the study by Fangraphs from 2015 to 2017. Batting average dipped immensely from 90-mile-an-hour pitches to 100-mile-an-hour pitches. What we also see with increased velocity is strikeouts per 9 innings. And strikeout rates continue to be on the rise over the last 100 years. While I think there's been some extremely high-end pitchers who could touch 90 miles an hour or maybe even 100, I think the vast majority of the fastballs that Babe Ruth faced were under 80 miles an hour. You ever wonder how...
All right, there's some history for your ass. Sorry to get a lot of Babe Ruth fans upset with that video, but there's some history for you. Again, take it all with a grain of salt. There's no way that Grace and I could jump in a time machine. But what we could do is end the show here because we have another week before Yankees baseball starts. Appreciate everybody who was in the building. Anna Marie, David Gonzalez was in the chat. Shout out to everybody who jumped on the open panel. My guy Nathan, who was in the building. Appreciate you all. Grace, I love the dress. I love the dress. I love the fit. I love the makeup. And I look forward to this baseball season that's up and coming. Last words for the chat before we get out.
Last words are Giga Maggies and go Yankees. Giga Maggies tonight.
I'll be rooting for the Aggies, right?
Yeah,
That's what they call it.
Aggies.
I'll be rooting for the Aggies. I'm not a college sports guy. The only way, this is how I choose my team for March Madness. I go off of the mascots. Whichever mascot I think is the coolest, that's the team that I pick, right? So I'm going with the Aggies because my friend Grace Monroe is going for the Aggies. But guys, make sure you guys drink some water. Say something positive about yourself. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
This is Yanks Morning Brew, and we will be back next week, Tuesday. And until then, hug your girlfriend, not your prospects. Trade Spencer Jones, Jasson Dominguez, Rookie of the Year. We are out of here.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.